Want to know who's not talking that enough for me? Single moms. Hello? Like, you guys should be walking around like you're better than everyone. Because you are. I don't understand. Some days I sit and reflect about how my mom practically had to raise me alone. And now I'm married to a man who is not only a good husband, but an amazing father who is active and present. I'm proud of you. Keep going, sis.
This is the problem. You have somebody that is in a marriage where the man is doing what he's supposed to do. And what is she over here doing? Hyping up single motherhood. I can't stand this. Even the broads who do have it, they still want to hype up the dysfunction.
Somebody said they're single because they don't want to have sex. And that is so real. I really feel that because, like, the idea of a man touching me in any sort of way just makes me nauseous. It disgusts me, actually. And it's been so long for me that I think I've almost celebrated myself into asexuality. I have no attraction to men in that way. And I am a strong believer that my romance is like the least interesting part about me. So it's not even something that I focus on, is that sort of intimacy. I find intimacy with my homegirls, with my hobbies, my children. Those things are fulfilling to me. But like a man, why would a man be here? Why would a man be here? They actually offer nothing but pain and angst and irritation. So, and I'm trying to do better about that. So it's just like, ew, no. Like, thinking of a man touching me, yeah.
These heifers need to just come out as lesbians. Look, I'm not trying to disparage lesbians when I say that. I'm just saying this is lesbianist energy. You're coming out here and saying you don't want a man to touch you, all this, that, and third, which is perfectly fine. You don't have to want those things. But to make it seem like it's men's fault, the reason why, girl, just go be a lesbian and leave men out of it. And the crazy part about it is the bomb that she dropped on this whole entire video is that she has kids, either has a child or children. And that's the part that's disturbing. You got a lot of broken ass individuals walking around, and guess what? They are raising children. And then we wonder why the kids are effed up the way they are. It's because the parents are basket cases. This is an unhealed woman. So whatever situation she's been through, she has not let that trauma go, and she is carrying around with her everywhere she goes. And you know who's gonna suffer the most because of it? Her children. And that's the part that's scary. Ladies, please, please heal. You need to go and heal, because the last thing you want to do is get on these here internets or be out in IRL behaving this way. What the hell was that? I feel like they put content out here like this to try to convince other women to find intimacy in their friendships as well. What the hell does that? I don't want to be intimate with my female friends. I don't want to be intimate with my male friends. The only person I want to be intimate with is my man. It's weird to me that y'all broads will really get out here and say things like go on romantic dates with your friends and then also be intimate with your friends. Stop acting like these words don't have meaning, whether it's denotative or connotative, okay? And if you don't know the difference, D for dictionary, C for not dictionary. We have colloquial meanings for things. When people say intimate or intimacy, that is typically with a romantic partner. We know that that's how a lot of people view that word. We know that that's how that word is typically used. So when you say you want to have intimacy with your friends, what comes to mind is friends with benefits, okay? And if you're saying you don't want a man to touch you, then that lets me know your friends are most likely women. If you're saying you want to be intimate with them, like you're taking the scenic route to just say that you're a lesbian. Like, just go be that. That would be much healthier than you sitting over here just chastising men, saying that you're asexual. I don't believe that, because you still want intimacy. It would be much healthier for you to just come out the closet and say that you're a lesbian. Okay, go get you a stud. Okay, get you the studs to two and get a 2-parent household for them damn kids. These broads are so deranged, and they're also so selfish. You have children. You don't want your children to have a 2-parent household? Y'all don't even give a damn about how much of a deficit you put your child at when you behave this way. The deficit that you put your child in when they don't have 2 parents in the household, 2 healthy parents in the household. Ladies, close your goddamn legs. If you don't want to have a 2-parent household with somebody, don't bring children into this world, okay? It's selfish, it's disgusting, it's shows that you only view this child as an accessory. This whole single baby mama culture that we have is gotten out of hand. I'm sick of us throwing on the cape for dysfunction. Now, yes, there are going to be single mothers who have to do it, not for the choice of their own. Maybe they did it right. They got married. They had the husband. They had the children after the husband. And then the husband, he switches up, or he leaves the relationship, or he leaves her hanging high and dry, or she ends up being a married single mother. That does happen. With that being said, that's not the case for all of them. Just like you have women who have multiple baby daddies, no marriage in sight. It's not the case for all of these women that they did it the right way and then things went south. So I'm not going to sit over here and put the cape on for single motherhood because some women did it right. No. We're always going to strive for what is the healthiest, which is going to be a 2-parent household where you have the mother, you have the father. They're both working to make sure that those children have a healthy environment to grow up in. These heifers, they really get out here and they soft promote single motherhood because that's what this video is. I don't want a man. I don't need a man. My children, just throwing that out there. Well, I'm just going to raise my children. Like really out here promoting being a single mom. But then these same single moms will get out here and complain when men aren't stepping up for them in the public. Okay, random men, when they see them in distress, why aren't the men doing anything? Why aren't the men helping? So they'll get out here and complain about men not helping, but in the same breath, they'll get on here and say men ain't ish. Well, if they ain't ish, then why do you expect them to help? Right? Doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's the selfishness for me when it comes to single baby mamas. Not wanting to have a man in the house, not wanting to have a father figure in the house for their children. And they don't give a damn how much of a deficit they put their child at.
Let's talk about how exhausting it is to be a single parent, right? So first of all, there is no more village. The village that we had when we were growing up, you see how we were able to go out on the block and play, and there was always somebody, not because they had to or not because they were asked to, but it was always somebody that knew whose child you belonged to. They was always just watching over all the children on the block, right? We don't have that anymore. Then we have babies having babies. The grandmas, the new grandmas, they're in their 30s, early 40s, right? And because they had their kids so young, they feel like this is their time now to, reclaim, right? So they're not helping. They don't want to help with the children, right? Because they want to be outside too. So, okay, cool. Then on top of that, right? A lot of us went through a lot growing up, a lot of childhood trauma. So we really don't even trust our family like that. We really don't even fuck with our family like that, right? And we want to keep our kids away from that as much as possible. So now there is no sleepovers. There is no, can you watch my kids for the weekend? There's no nothing because the family is not close knit. Like I said, there's just no more village anymore, right? But then we're also overcompensating, right? We're overcompensating for the fact that because we still have to work. We still have to grind because we have to take care of our children, right? So now we are overcompensating for the fact that we don't get to spend as much time with our children because we're always at work or we're always grinding, right? So now we're just handing them whatever it is that they're asked for. We're giving them everything they want and they need, right? And they're not working for anything.
What she's painting as far as the destruction of the village is 100% true. She's on point with that. But I do have some pushback for they just give them everything they want because they want to compensate for not being there for their kids. A lot of these broads, they genuinely don't give a damn. They want to be out there throwing their thought pocket around, putting their thought pocket on the street, on the stroll, out there like they are a single woman with no children. They want to be out there just like the rest of these broads who don't have children. They want to be out there in the streets gallivanting like the rest of them hoes. It's not just, they want to overcompensate because they actually miss having time with their children. They wish they had time with their children. No, a lot of these broads want to be out there in the clubs, on the stroll, doing this, that, and the third, whoop, doing everything under the sun except being a mother, except actually being in their child's face and asking them, what did you learn in school today? A lot of these broads, not all, there are some who are fitting the bill of what she's saying. Let's not skate over. And maybe she'll get into this later. Maybe I'm saying this prematurely. Okay, maybe she might cook on this. We need to recognize that there are women out here who are single moms, who are going out, and the last thing they want to do is spend time with with their kids. That's why their kids are everywhere but with them. But for some reason, they don't want to give the child to the father.
Overcompensating because of the absentee of the parent, whether it's the mother or the father, right? We're also overcompensating for that, right? So now the downfall to that is that we're raising spoiled, entitled children, but we're doing it unintentionally, right? So now they're growing up with this mentality like, oh, mommy or daddy or whoever it is just going to give me whatever. They're going to give me whatever. And they're not working for anything. They don't really know the value of everything. But like I said, it's unintentional because we're overcompensating, right? And then some of us, let me not say a lot, some of us grew up with our grandparents, right? For some reason, there was no relationship with the mothers, right? So now that the grandparents are gone, it's literally just us. It's literally just us. It's not like, and as much as you try to like make that relationship work with your parent, it's just not given that because I'm an adult now. It's just, it's just not that. So now it's just me and my children. Me and my children, they don't know a cousin. They don't know anything. It's literally just us.
That's dangerous for a lot of different reasons because you got a lot of folks out here, they sleeping with their cousin, have no idea. Okay, when you don't know who your family is, that means you could be laid up with your cousin. And next thing you know, you wondering why your kid coming out looking the way that it does. A lot of folks don't know who their family is, and that's how they end up in these situations. This is generational trauma. The fact that there are whole generations where they just neglected their kids to such a point where a lot of those kids were raised by their grandparents, that is going to create that deficit because guess what? When they have kids, guess who's not there? The grandparents. So the parents who were supposed to transition into the grandparents' role, they are no longer there. So we have to understand how deep these problems are, very deeply rooted in our community because these are generational issues. As much as you guys want to get on here and talk about the white supremacy and all that stuff, what we really need to get a hold on are generational issues, are issues within the family units. Parents not being there for their kids, putting it off on the grandparents. And so when their kids become mothers and fathers them damn selves, guess who they can't rely on? The grandparents. Because their parents, who are now in the role of a grandparent, didn't even want to be parents in the first place. So how the hell are they going to be grandparents? It's dysfunction at every single level, at every single turn. And then we wonder why we can't get a hold on the Black community. We wonder why we are constantly pushing forth these negative, toxic values that aren't values to begin with. It's an issue that will continue to compound upon itself until we bring back two-parent households, healthy relationships. And that's why that broad that we were just listening to earlier, that's why she is completely out of order. You are raising your children in dysfunction, and guess what? That dysfunction is going to trickle down unless your kids break that cycle. If you are alive, you should be actively working to break that cycle. But folks aren't. They're leaning into the dysfunction because they get hyped up. That's what makes this so toxic. We hype up our baby mamas. We hype up our single mothers. What we need to do is hype up two-parent households. I'm not going to sit over here and put the cape on and be like, oh my God, let me worship the ground you work on because you did it as a single mother. No, I'm not doing that. What I will do is hype up the two-parent household and encourage other people, whether it be man or woman alike, to be a part of the solution, to not screw over their husband or screw over their wives, to actually get into relationships where you give a damn about that person and then bring children into this world and then you work together to rear them. That's what I'm going to hype up. Doesn't mean I need to put down every situation where a mom ends up being a single mom. I'm not going to do that, but I'm also not going to hype it up.
Once again, here comes the overcompensating. There is no village. You are the village. You are literally somebody's everyday emergency contact, right? And then the mental health, it gets shot because literally the only person your kids know is you. So you get called for every little thing. So you really can't take a day off. You really can't take a mental health day because why? There's every second of the day somebody needs you. Every second of the day you just have to show up. It doesn't matter what's going on in life. You just literally have to show up. It's not easy at all being a single parent. It's really not. So, yeah, that was like my little rant because I was just thinking about it like, damn, like, and then you can't even really reach out to like friends and stuff because friends that can't relate, like let's say like the friends don't have kids or maybe they only have one kid. If you have more than one kid, they're judging you. They're looking for something to talk about. It like you can be doing immaculate in life with you and your 2, 3, or 4 kids or whatever. You can be doing immaculate, and somebody's still gonna find something to talk about because, oh yeah, she should have stopped at this one, and oh yeah, she has. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. It's really exhausting.
It's just, it always devolves into babble. She started off cooking, ended with babbling. Yeah, people are going to judge you for the situation you put yourself in. It is what it is. If you don't want people judging you for these up situations you're putting yourselves in, stop putting yourselves in effed up situations. Yes, people are gonna talk, and honestly, if your friend is being honest with you and telling you, hey, I suggest you close them damn legs, then that's a good friend. Okay, that's a friend that doesn't want you to continue down the road of dysfunction. But I also agree that there is something weird about your friends kind of snickering behind your back. That's not really a friend. Okay, let's stop calling everybody a friend. Someone who's gossiping about you behind your back is not your friend. The person who's coming up to you and telling you, hey, sis, get your life together, close them legs, stop bringing babies into this world where you have no man, no 2-parent household to sustain that. That's why you're so exhausted. A friend who is going to be honest with you and hold your hand and tell you the truth, that's a real friend. Not the one gossiping behind your back, and definitely not the one hyping you up in your dysfunction. Those aren't your real friends.
Hey, we're still making it work. And we're just trying. So shout out to all the single parents, whether you're a mom or dad, because we're literally just fucking winging it, and I think we're doing a damn good job. So yeah.
I'm not gonna say this not hard. Obviously, it's gonna be harder when you have all the responsibilities of a 2-parent household and you're doing it by yourself. Like I said, I'm not hyping it up, because the moment you do that, then you encourage more people to enter that lifestyle. It's better if you tell people exactly how hard it is, how much sleep you're losing, how difficult it is, how it's messing up your mental health. And she did a lot of that here. Tell them the truth. Tell them about the sleepless nights. Tell them about how you wish you had a partner that you could rely on. Tell them the truth rather than hyping it up and being like, yeah, I'm so empowered because I did it by myself. Like, no, you're putting a battery in the backs of other young women to go out and be single mothers, to go out and hatch babies by all these different men. You're encouraging that behavior when you hype up the single mother and say, yeah, she did it by herself. Yay to her. No, it's no yay to her. I'm glad that you were able to do it, but that is a tough situation to be in. And we need to be honest about it when we're talking to these young women so they don't end up in that situation. You should desire health. You should make it a requirement when you bring children into this world that it is in a 2-parent household. And if you did not vet that man and you just gave it to every Pookie Ray Ray, that's what you're signing up for. It's just like the T-app. These broads will go after men that look like an entire red flag. They have all the trimmings of a Pookie Ray Ray, and that's the one who they're laying up with and catching babies by. And then they want to act shocked. Oh my God, I had no idea. Yes, he had 3 baby mothers before me, but he would never do that to me. Girl, get an effing clue. Understand the pattern. Why are you going after men who already have a history of being a Pookie Ray Ray? And then why are you going after men who got the Pookie Ray Ray uniform? It makes no effing sense. Stop hyping up this dysfunction. We need to hype up 2-parent households. Are you in the house with the father of your children raising those damn kids? If you're doing that, that's what we need to hype up.
Hey, this is a crash out post. I'm currently crashing out. Sorry in advance. Women, do not get married and have kids unless you plan on and are capable of becoming a single mom. Because 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, I don't know, statistically high, that's probably what's gonna happen to you. Now, I love being a mom. I really do. And in fact, I quite enjoy most of the time being a single mom. This is not fair. The world is not set up for single moms. You will struggle. I don't care what job you have. I don't care how much you get paid. Especially in this economy right now, okay? The world is not set up for single mothers. It will be hard. It will test you in ways that you didn't know that you could even be tested. You will have to fight for those kids, most likely. You will have to fight for those kids. You will have to wake up every morning and question, just real talk, if motherhood is really something that you want anymore, because these men make it so hard. Oh, they make it so hard to be a mom. They take away all of the tender moments of motherhood that you could have had, but you were stuck in survival mode. So you didn't even really get to enjoy it. You're just surviving, trying to raise these kids, trying to do the best you can, and you get $250 a month. What the That is pennies. That is the gas money it is taking me to drop them off at their father's house and pick them back up. $250 a month. And my ex is a nurse. $250 a month. I'm sorry. Oh, I don't even know if I'm going to post this. These men will take everything from you. They will promise you so much. They will promise you so much. And it will feel great at first. It will feel peaceful at first. And for some reason, when you have their child, they will abandon you. They will discard you. Even if they don't cheat, even if they don't do anything significant, they'll emotionally turn away from you to the point where you leave. I left. I can't be in that. It is not what we were promised. It is not what you think it is. I promise you. I promise you.
And this is why I never prescribe something that is one-sided. So when we talk about single parenthood, we need to understand it is a two-sided issue. So we can get on the women who are sleeping around and just catching babies by Pookie Ray Rays that they know, or at least they should know, aren't worth a damn. But then we also have situations like this. To be fair, you could ask, well, what's the man's perspective on this? And that's fair. That's a fair question. But we would be stupid to think that all the men that are in situations like this are just little angels. Oh, they're just little angels. No, we have to fix this issue on all fronts. Okay, we need to fix the issue of the women laying up with Pookie Ray Rays that they know ain't worth a damn and catching a bunch of babies. We need to fix this issue on women that get into marriages and then they don't do what they're supposed to do and they drop the ball and then they ruin their marriage. And then we also need to address the men, okay? The men who are running around Pookies and Ray Rays, laying up with these broads, having multiple baby mamas, having multiple babies with these broads. They need to be addressed just like the men who get into marriages and pretend like they want the family, they want all these things, and then they abandon the woman and then she becomes, like I said earlier, a married single mother. I'm tired of hearing these conversations and everybody wants to put all of the attention on the women. No, we need to give attention everywhere, across the board. Everyone who is participating in this dysfunction is shameful. If you are one of those men laying up with a bunch of women, catching a bunch of babies, being baby father to 7 different women, you're an effing problem. Just like what this woman is describing. If you were in a marriage with a woman and then as soon as she had your baby, you just abandon her and you don't do what you're supposed to do as a father, as a husband, and you start running the streets, guess what? You're a fucking problem too. Everybody is participating in this dysfunction. How are we going to say that we want a brighter future when we want to treat our present like when we want to treat our children like and abandon the people we have children with? The women and men who are out here having babies where they know they're not going to get into a strong relationship, they know they're not going to build a 2-parent household and they're just doing it anyways, they need to be shamed. Those who get into marriages and have the children and then they act a damn fool and ruin their relationship and break up their 2-parent household, they also need to be shamed. All of this is extremely unfortunate. She said, oh, you need to be able to be a single mom and all this other stuff. That's low-key true. You have to be willing to do it just in case, because you never know what could happen. It could be this situation or it could be an untimely death and you still have to hustle and take care of whoever it is that you're with. Now, the part that I don't agree with, I would say this extends to single parents in general, not just single mothers. Because guess what? There are single fathers out here working hard, being exhausted just like you, working just like you, not getting any support from the baby mama, but they're still taking care of their kids as a single father. This man hatred, this hatred of man, girl, go heal. You need to heal yourself from that, especially if you got sons. I'm gonna need you to heal. You need to reconcile with the fact that your man probably wasn't or maybe he was, and we're just hearing one side of the story. I don't know. You need to go heal for the sake of yourself and for the sake of your kids, because this crash out and this anger and hatred and misandry towards men, that is going to permeate in how you raise your kids, whether it's a daughter or a son. You're either going to raise your daughter to hate men men too? Or are you going to raise your son to be exactly the man that you hate? Because that's how it tends to happen.
He made a video saying that if you're a single mom, especially if you're like in your 20s, you got 2-3 kids, prepare to struggle, prepare to cry, prepare to feel like you don't want to be here anymore, damn near unalive yourself. And a lady responded to that saying that she was talking to her, you know, because she was 23 with 3 kids.
Oh, y'all look at this. Literally, I stayed in the hospital for a whole week because I had an overdose. I overdosed because I literally did not want to be here no more.
A lot of people have negative things to say about single mothers, about how we should have chosen better, we should have made better decisions, we should have stopped at 1, we shouldn't have had a baby if we weren't financially stable. But the funny thing about that is finances change. You could be stable 1 year and then the next year not know how you're going to eat, and guess what? Those kids still have to eat. People will say, well, you should have stayed with the man, or you should have stayed within your marriage. That is your fault. But I tell you, and I'm going to tell you again, that staying in a situation that doesn't serve you, even if you are afraid of what comes next, is going to hurt you further. It's going to cause more damage to you. There are going to be more things that you're going to need to heal from. This lady talks about how nobody really told her what it meant to be a wife and a mother, just like nobody really told me. I'm going to say it until my lips turn blue, until everybody just blocks me because they can't stand me talking. Your 20s is not for childbirth. Your 20s is not for marriage. It isn't. It's to get to know who you are. It's to figure out what you like to do certain hobbies. It's to figure out what you're even into. Yes, you can be in a relationship, but everybody that you get into a relationship with is not meant to be your husband, is not meant to be the father of your child. Saying this because I'm bitter. I'm not saying this because I hate men. You are going to lose a piece of you. And if you are already not whole, you can't really afford to lose any more of yourself.
It's always this black and white thinking. Oh, well, you shouldn't do this in your 20s. Oh, well, you should. Like, it's so illogical. Not everybody is going to be on the same timeline. There are people like Nara Smith who got married very young and was able to have a beautiful family, and they're raising their kids together. Me, I didn't have children until my late 20s. Okay. I was damn near knocking on 30 when I had my first child. So that timeline is not going to be the same for everybody. The point is, okay, because they always want to put it on these arbitrary things. Well, don't do it in your 20s. Well, don't do it in your 30s. No, that is arbitrary. The thing is to find the right person. And now you can find that person in your early 20s. You can find that person in your mid 20s. Hell, you might find that person in your late 20s into your 30s. That just depends on you and your situation, the way you put yourself out there. So it really just depends on all of that. Stop giving it this arbitrary prescription. Well, don't do this in your 20s. Oh, we'll do this. Like, it doesn't work that way. There are women who are going to follow what you're saying, right? They're going to wait until they're 30. And guess what? They're not going to be able to find anyone because the person that was for them, they shut the door in their face because I'm 20. I need to live my life. So it's just like, stop giving these blanket statements across the board. The best thing you could tell people is from when you become an adult, be conscious, be aware, know what you want. And when that person finds you, whether it's in your early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, early 30s, when you find that person, be very intentional. When you are dating, be intentional. Be intentional the entire time because you never know. You could find Mr. Right when you're in your 20s, and if you turn him away because I'm 20, I want to have fun, guess what? Another Mr. Right may not come a knocking ever, and then you'll end up a bitter, lonely broad with a barren womb. Do not close yourself off because you're 20. Look at all these broads that are struggling right now because they're old. They can't have kids. Now they can't get a man. You want to be bitter and old too? And then also the ones who are saying, just go out and have babies. Like, it's just, be a single mom. It's okay. Like, it's illogical too. Don't give babies to a man that does not want to be in a 2-parent household with you, that does not have those values, that does not value the 2-parent household. Do not be with those men just because you're young and you want to be free, whatever the hell that means. Even just like the idea of what lockdown and being free is, like, y'all got a messed up, twisted version of what that even means and what that actually looks like. And yes, it does sound bitter. Just because you chose wrong when you were younger doesn't mean that somebody that is younger can't choose right. Doesn't mean that somebody that is older can't choose right. These things are not one size fits all, so stop trying to do that.
Having a child changes you. Having multiple children will change you, and you need to be mentally strong. Every time I say be strong, women use all their strength to say no. I won't be. But baby, giving up is not an option, especially if you have children. That's just what it is. We can't give up. Let me be clear, everybody is going through it. 20-year-olds, 50-year-olds, married people, single people. There's a single father of 4 right now that's about to have a beer before 5 because he's about had a damn enough. So don't think that you're alone because you're not alone, but you will find out how cruel the world is. And you will find out that nobody is coming to save you. You're going to feel uncertain. You're going to feel lost. You're going to feel like you're the worst mom in the world. But you know what? If you're stressing about whether or not you're a good mom, 9 times out of 10, you're a good mom because bad moms don't really care. Kids aren't going to understand your financial situation, and your kids are not going to understand your relationship choices, nor do they need to. But what they do understand is your energy. So when you are anxious, they are anxious. When you are afraid, they are afraid. When you are mad, they are enraged. If you don't know what's going on, they certainly don't know what's going on. You didn't ask to be here, baby. Neither did they. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep that energy really, really positive around them.
You didn't ask to be here? Some of you bros did ask to be here because you was spreading that cat all down the street. So yes, some of them did ask to be here. And I agree, there are some that didn't. Okay, just like the woman that we listened to before. Granted, we don't know the man's side, but for going off of what she said, she didn't ask to be a single mom. She did things the right way, got married, had the children in marriage, it fell apart. I agree with what she's saying in this latter part. Your children come first, and you need to make sure you're prioritizing them. They definitely feed off of your energy. So if you are constantly anxious, if you're constantly angry, guess what? Your children are adopting those emotions too. I also agree with when you are in those situations, regardless if you're married or not married or, 2-parent or single parent, those kids come first every single time. I don't care what you got to do. You got to make sure that those kids are taken care of. Period. End of the conversation. Because they're the only ones who didn't ask to be here. I've never heard of a child knocking on someone's uterus and asking, may I please? No, that doesn't happen.
Want to know who's not talking their enough for me? Single moms. Hello? Like, you guys should be walking around like you're better than everyone. Because you are. I don't understand. Some days I sit and reflect about how my mom practically had to raise me alone. And now I'm married to a man who is not only a good husband, but an amazing father who is active and present. So the next time I see my daddy, I might have to slap him on the back of that bald ass head. I'm gonna have to do it because how do you just let my good sis do this by herself? And then wonder why we don't have a good relationship? What? So yeah, if you're a single mom, talk your more often, okay? Because you're the doctor, the teacher, the therapist. You're all of the above. And it's falling on your shoulders alone. Like, you are doing the damn thing. And if no one's told you lately, I am so proud of you. Keep going, sis.
This is the problem. You have a mother. I think she said she was a mother. You have somebody that is in a marriage where the man is doing what he's supposed to do. And what is she over here doing? Hyping up single motherhood. Girl, what the hell are you talking about here? No, you should be hyping up your situation because that's what we should be striving for. 2-parent households. I can't stand this. Even the broads who do have it, they still want to hype up the dysfunction. These single mothers who are out here doing what they're supposed to do, guess what? They are doing what they're supposed to do. They are in that situation. That is what you have to do. But what we're not going to do is hype it up so that younger women can look at that and be like, oh, it's fine to be a single mom. If I'm a single mom, I'm going to get all this praise. People are going to look at me like, no. The more you hype this up, the more you normalize it. And this is not a normal situation. We do not need to normalize single motherhood, single fatherhood. No, we need to normalize. We need to put it back in vogue to have 2-parent households. Period. End of the conversation. I'm so sick of people that don't live that life, hyping up that life. It's one thing to be like, yeah, you took care of your responsibilities. But at the end of the day, 2-parent household is the goal. The more you put out propaganda like this, because it is misleading, saying, oh, well, you're so great. A lot of these single moms are not great. Not all of them. I'm sure there are plenty of single mothers that are doing the damn thing. But let's not hype up this dysfunctional situation because we want to do the sisterhood thing. Yeah, y'all did it. Yeah, no, F all that. Yes, your situation is what it is. I'm not going to hype it up because we need to put more energy into 2-parent households. What you have is dysfunctional. Regardless if you're doing the damn thing, it's still dysfunctional. But y'all, I am curious to hear you guys' thoughts down below. How do you feel about this whole situation? Are you on board with hyping up single motherhood, single fatherhood because they're doing it by themselves and it's so great? Yay! Or are you like me where it's like, yeah, you're doing what you're supposed to do, but at the end of the day, 2 2-parent household is the goal, and that's what we need to hype up. I am curious to hear you guys' thoughts down below. If you like the content, like the content. The more you interact with it, the more it gets pushed out into the algorithm. Hype the video. I have that function now. If you're feeling a little extra generous, the link is in the description to buy your girl a coffee. Thank you guys so much, and I will see y'all with the next one. Deuces.